Once the connection is made, immediately you know about yourself. And this center, which is responsible for creating all kinds of funny thoughts and horrible creativity, becomes so benevolent, so soothing, so beautiful. Apart from that, as I told you just now, these people who could not even say one word in Hindi language have started singing Sanskrit, and this, especially the one they sang, the first one, many Indians cannot sing that way, I can tell you. They can't. It's not easy. It's a very great tongue twister, first of all, the language is. Apart from that, to sing in such a correct pronunciation is so difficult, but they have done it. So, in Sahaja Yoga, an artist who is struggling today may become a great artist tomorrow. But still, I would say these are temptations. You'll become a great artist, you start earning more money, this, that. But that's not the one you have to really be satisfied with. You will never be satisfied with that. So you move to the third center, which we call as the Nabhi Chakra. This center is, on one side, is made of water, another side with fire. Around it are our 10 valencies, which we can call as our innate religion within ourselves. Now this Nabhi itself, or we can call the solar plexus, or we can say the navel chakra, gives us, as soon as the Kundalini rises, she awakens this, and the light, when it spreads, you become religious. I don't have to tell you anything. You just become. I don't have to say that you don't take drugs. You just don't take it. Overnight, I have seen people have given up drugs. Overnight alcoholism, overnight everything. And they enjoy their virtues. That's the best part of it. Some people think, oh, then what is the fun? What is this that you take something in the pub and next day you have hangover? Here you take something and next day you are much better off. It never comes down. It never gives you a reaction. It's not artificial. It's not intoxicating. It is from your nerves. It's bubbling out. So this is the center which is very important in us, because most of us have a problem with this center. And here we have a capacity by this center that we enjoy our generosity. Now all matter, whatever it is, we are materialistic, is a good idea to be materialistic. But the matter is, the aesthetics of matters are that you can give it to others, suggesting you are loving it. I think that's the only thing a matter can do. And in a very special way you can express that love. For example, somebody likes a particular thing, you go all the way to get it, and give that small thing, very small thing, to the person, and the joy, not out of the money that you have spent, but the feelings you have expressed of knowing what that person would love. And this kind of a depth develops within you such lovable, beautiful society you enter into. And you don't need anything, because everybody is looking after your needs. Now I have told them I love flowers, because I don't take anything else. So you must see, whenever I come, my house is so filled with flowers that my husband was saying, let us go live in the garden and let the flowers be here. So, you see, the joy of giving comes from this center. And whatever you eat, whatever you have to eat, whatever is good for you, you eat. You don't have to bother as to what to eat, what not to eat. You just eat whatever is good for you, benevolent for you. You become so wise. And also you please others. You don't displease others by saying, this is bad food, I want that. I want goes away. What do you want? So like you could say, a candle which is not enlightened is waiting to be enlightened, is asking for the light. I want light. But once it is enlightened, it gives light to others automatically. Supposed to be. In the same way, you also start giving your light, your love, your joy to others. Automatically. I don't have to tell you. Nobody has to go through any 10 commandments anymore. Those days are gone. Now automatically you become like that. Very beautiful people, very affectionate and glorious, I should say. If you see the glow on the face of Sahaja Yogis, the face itself is radiant. Many people drop out their 10 years to 20 years in their age, and they are so enthusiastic, never get tired. Especially in England, I've seen, or also in the West, I would say everywhere. People get very easily tired. On the television also you'll find people will come and sit down. Young people, they'll talk 10 times, they'll say, why are we so tired? Because we think too much. All energy is wasted in thinking, so no energy left to enjoy anything whatsoever. For example, you have to have people for dinner. You think what to bring, how to make it formal, what to do, this thing, that thing, so agitated and so nervous about the whole thing. When the guests come in, they feel like running away. Because so much of tension of thinking, planning. Ultimately, the whole joy has disappeared. So, the second center which is there, it does a very miraculous thing, is to provide the grey cells in our brain when we are using it for thinking. And also it looks after your liver, your pancreas, your spleen, your kidneys, and lower part of your abdomen. Instead of doing that, poor thing is busy only sending grey cells to your brain because of thinking like mad. So you develop all other diseases, liver trouble, which is very common. Then you develop diabetes, very common. Yesterday at least there were 10 people who said we have diabetes. Now diabetes you do not develop by taking too much sugar, take it from me. In India, if you go to a village, you will see that he takes sugar in such a manner that in the cup the spoon must stand at right angle, otherwise he won't take. And he never gets diabetes. The reason is he doesn't think of tomorrow. He just works hard, eats his food and sleeps off nicely. He doesn't take sleeping pills either. So this diabetes comes by overthinking and can be easily cured if you can take to Sahaja Yoga, which I'll tell you how we stop our thinking at this, I've already told you at this point. Then the third disease, which is even more dangerous than this, is the disease which we call as blood cancer. Blood cancer is caused only to people who think too much. It can even be to the children if the mother is very meticulous, particular about her carpets out her house, everything, and even a rat doesn't enter that house. But she's very careful that all her things are properly done. Her sink doesn't have even so much of little bit of a spot left in it. And all the time thinking, planning. This affects the child. And a child also can get blood cancer. Blood cancer, you get it because your spleen is a speedometer. It's the one which gives you the rhythm of life. Now when we are hectic people, all the time under shock, then this goes out of order. For example, in the morning we get up, see the newspaper, and what you find? These Iranians have killed someone. Such a shock. Then an accident. Newspaper will never give good news, will they? Will they give news how many people got realization or something is working out all right? No. Something horrible. That should shock your head, shock your limbic area. Otherwise you will not take it seriously. So, once you read that, you don't know your system is a very delicate system. It gets a shock. And then you get into your car without taking your breakfast, or maybe in your hand is the breakfast because you are late. On the way there's a jam, you are shouting, screaming. Somehow or other you reach the office and there's the boss barking. This is how we live, under complete tension. We are supposed to be free people. In the night, if you sing loudly, the neighbor will come and put you to the police station. You can't do anything. There's no freedom.